Now, this webinar is dedicated for our students, and so we are a little dorkier when we do these webinars. We're a little more silly when we do these webinars. If you are a parent logging in, just know that the webinar is for our students. You are welcome to stick around and ask questions. Okay, perfect. Got that going on. Okay. And at this time, we will go ahead and make our interpretation announcement. Vamos a ahorita dar el anuncio de interpretación by Mr. Hugo Santos.
Okay. Good afternoon. In order to provide language access, we will be providing interpretation into Spanish. So I will go ahead and give an announcement in Spanish, and then we can begin. Hola, ¿qué tal? Esta reunión contará con interpretación simultánea en español. Si es bilingüe, no tiene que presionar nada. Si no es bilingüe, tendrá que elegir el idioma para escuchar la presentación. Si está usando una computadora, verá un icono en la parte inferior de su pantalla, a la derecha en forma de globo que dice interpretación. Haga clic ahí y seleccione español. Si está usando un iPad o el teléfono, localice el menú de 3 puntos. Normalmente aparece en la parte superior, pero puede variar. Haga clic en interpretación de idiomas y elija español. Gracias.
Gracias, Mr. Hugo. So I'm starting interpretation now. Okay. So for all our families joining us today and for all our students joining us today, I would highly encourage you to ask questions in the Q&A. We have Ms. Hatcher Day, we have Ms. Gonzalez, we have Ms. Chu, we have Mr. Rocha, we have Mr. Ricardo Mata Vasquez in the background being able to answer questions. And so with that said, I will go ahead and get started with our presentation. Now, one of the things that I'm doing right now is not sharing my screen, but I will be starting to share my screen, and I'm going to put it on my presenter view. Now, what does that mean for a presenter view? For you, it means that when I share my screen, you will see the entire presentation. Okay. What does that mean for our students who are here? In a hybrid setting, I'm here talking to all of you, but I also have my screen on for anybody that's in person. They are able to experience the same presentation and be involved in the same presentation. So I also have my portable desk, and we have one of our very own students here. Say hello, Sophie. Hello. Perfect. She'll be part of our entourage today, and she will be kind of just walking with us as we're learning about GV. And so I am practicing PPE today, and so I do have my mask on. I will not be taking it off through this presentation because of the nature of what we're going to be presenting today. And so do keep those things in mind. It is a portable desk, so I'll be walking around. I did a little trial run earlier this morning to make sure my laptop doesn't fall and to make sure that nothing falls. But if it falls, you can laugh for just a little bit, and then give me a second to pick up all my machinery and then pick it up again, and we'll just carry on as if nothing happened. That's if I fall, but be mindful of that. So what is it that we are preparing you for, and what is the 8th grade virtual orientation? Really, tomorrow, we will know from the county health whether we are in the red tier. On Friday, the county health did indicate that we are going to be in the red tier beginning tomorrow. So what does that mean? That means that Wednesday is a distance learning day, and Thursday will be our first day returning back to school. Friday will be our next day returning back to school. So our goal today is what that means for you. If you are in hybrid group A, that means that you'll be coming face-to-face on Thursday. If everybody puts a lens on what Thursday indicates, that means that hybrid group A will be coming to GV. Really excited for that. And we'll be checking you in. We'll be doing the screening. We're going to go outside right now and show you that screening. And then if you are in group B on Thursday, you will be at home logging in, kind of like what you're doing now. We're going to have a group A here in class, and we'll have group B and C at home. So we'll be communicating. There'll be opportunities for me to step away. I'll go talk to group A, return back, and you'll be checking in. Those check-ins will last about at minimum 20 minutes, but some teachers might keep you there for longer depending on what's being instructed and what the learning task is for that day. On Friday, we will be welcoming group B. That means that on Friday, if you're in group A, you will be logging in from home via Zoom. And if you are in group C, notice how group C, you will be logging in from home every day. Really, how you're not logging in right now is exactly how you'll be logging in, continuing on by finishing off the third quarter and moving on to the fourth quarter. So what does that mean for distance learning? For distance learning, really what it means is that group A, you're going to be in distance learning on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you're in group B, you're going to be in distance learning on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And if you are group C, you are going to be in distance learning 100% of the time. What is required of you in group C or group B or group A when it comes to distance learning? You want the similar processes and procedures that we have right now. You need a window to log into that has Zoom to log into your classes. But you also need to make sure that you keep your schedule with the schedule we have now and ensure that you are autonomous, that you have learning agency, that you're doing things on your own, that you're committed. Everything I just said right now are essentially synonyms to what you need to do. What you need to do in distance learning is make sure you understand the agenda, the learning tasks, and what your teacher is releasing you to do for the remainder of that block. Many times you'll be checking back in with them. Many times you'll be checking in with them through other platforms such as Google Classroom, Neo, Google Docs, Google Slideshows. Some of you might be using Nearpod. Really, it depends on the vehicle that your teacher is providing for that day. So going back to this visual, it's really important that you understand this visual for what it stands for. Where you see our school, those are the days that you're coming to our school physically, and you're coming here physically to school. On the days that you're not, you're in distance learning. So I'm going to turn it over right now to Mr. Sportel, who will talk a little bit about our school-wide expectations as they relate to SAIL.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad to have school almost starting here. It's going to be really exciting to have people back on campus and get rolling. Of course, we're still the Mariners, and so we still exemplify SAIL. So the things that we want to be thinking about always in our interactions, the way we conduct ourselves, are we making each other feel safe? Are we making ourselves be shown? Are we showing ourselves to be accountable? Are we making others feel included? And are we exemplifying learning? And so some of the new things that are going to come into play in terms of making other people feel safe is, are we maintaining that social distance? Are we wearing a mask? And am I being safe? Am I making sure that I'm washing my hands, using the hand sanitizer? Remember that when you exit a classroom, someone else is going to be coming in and taking that space that you were in. And are you thoroughly wiping that down? What would you want the person before you to be doing? So we want to keep remembering the safety. We want to keep remembering, am I accountable? Am I leaving this area clean the way I found it and prepared for the next person coming in? And then inclusive. What does this mean in the space where we're trying to make each other feel like we're comfortable, but we're still socially distant? and then of course in the learning. And this is where we're really thinking about this format of hybrid where teachers are working with us in person, or they're working with you online while they're working with someone else in person. And how am I doing my part to make sure that I'm completing my work to the best of my ability, that I'm fulfilling those assignments, and I'm increasing and learning in my skills. And so the next slide you'll see is something that you may have seen or heard a lot about already. It's our model of how we're providing a good defense against COVID. So the reason they use Swiss cheese in this model is because slices of Swiss cheese, they have holes in them. So each slice of cheese in and of itself does not create one barrier. There may be random holes in that cheese. So the fact that there's holes in it, that they're placed kind of randomly, those are the reasons they use Swiss cheese for that model. But if you were to take a whole stack of Swiss cheese and put it together, very few of the holes would match up with each other. And that's why they use it for the model. So if you think about these layers as being our PPE, wearing our masks, our hygiene, are we cleaning surfaces and keeping our hands clean? Our social distancing, are we maintaining that 6 feet of space? And also, how are we scanning ourselves, making sure that we're not ill, that we don't have any symptoms before we come into school? So when you add up all those layers, the idea is that you make that full defense. So there are some measures we're taking here at school, and the first one starts before you even get there. And that is our Crisis Go iPass screening. And this is something that your parents will be participating in. And what we need is for all parents to complete this survey prior to any student, to their student coming to school. So many of your parents, if you're in the A and B cohorts, have already gotten this survey. If you're in the C cohort, if you're the distance learning cohort, you won't be getting an iPass email and you won't be required to complete one. If you do come to campus, we'll be using a visitor iPass for you. But for those of you who are in the A and B cohorts, you're going to be getting an iPass email on those days that you come to school. And we're going to need you to have your parents complete the survey. So for the students, we want to make sure that, hey, mom, dad, are you getting this email? And when you get it, they'll click a button that will open up this survey that you'll see here. So it's hard to read, but there are questions about any symptoms that you might be having, any contact you might have had with somebody who has had a positive test, and if you've traveled or been in large gatherings. So what we need is for parents to complete that survey and answer those questions. And then after you answer the questions, if you've done this already, you may have seen this, you're going to get a color-coded badge that's going to pop out in the next screen as the page refreshes. And each one of those colors stands for a code. What we're looking for is the green. If you get a gray code, it means it just wasn't finished. So we got to make sure that gets done. If you get a blue or a green, it means it was, and you're okay to either learn remotely or come to school with no concerns. If you get any other color, we need to make a phone call to the school. So first check your answers and make sure you don't make a mistake. And if they're all correct and you still got a color, then you want to contact the school. And I think I'll jump into safe to speak up now.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So here on the next slide, you're going to see the Safe to Speak Up app. Now, I sent this out on Neo last week, and it's come to the point where it's really important for students to log into the Safe to Speak Up app. And what that's going to allow you to do is to display your colored badge on your iPad when you come through the screening checkpoint. If you can imagine for a minute that we're going to be having around 250 to 300 students coming to school each day, and we have to check their temperatures and verify that they're certified on iPass, we might be having some lines coming into school. And what we're going to do is have students be able to show that badge, that green badge, when they come up. That's going to make the line move a lot faster. So if you've got this on, you're logged into it, you're going to be able to move through that line very, very quickly. You will see this Safe to Speak Up icon on your iPad. And when you sign in, you're going to want to sign in with your SSO. That means single sign-on. And when you click that single sign-on, you will be able to log in with your school email address and password. When you sign on, you'll get to a page that looks like this. At the very bottom, you'll see a little icon that says iPass. When you click that icon, the next screen will look like this, and you'll find My Safety iPass at the top. As soon as you click that button, your badge will be displayed like one of these here. That is one of the most important things you can do to keep the line moving and keep things going when you get to school. If there has been a problem with this process, we'll have you come to a secondary screening checkpoint, and then we'll work with you. It'll probably be me sitting there, and we'll figure it out and we'll solve the problem. So not to worry, but if you want to move by quickly and easily, make sure you have that Safe to Speak Up logged in on your iPad. And Mr. Ortega is just going to review that process with you really quickly on this next slide.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Sportel. And now comes the time when we could try this out and see how it works. So remember what I told you, if I trip, don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. But here we go. So we got Sophia and Mr. Sportel kind of following us. And you know, the idea here is that you're coming in, you get dropped off. And as you're getting dropped off, you go to one of the screening checkpoints. So we are going to have a drop off that's going to be over by the bus stop, and there will be a check-in area in that direction towards the cafeteria. But we also are planning to get a drop off over by where we normally come through. And so that is the car drop off area. So this is my favorite area to stand in, just to welcome. You know, you drop off right here, and as you're getting dropped off, many times for a family. I think I'm back on.
Yes, Mr. Ortega, you are back on. Thank you.
Perfect. And I'm going to make Miss Chu a co-host. So that way, if I do get locked off, things will go through. So, all right. So if I'm back on, this is the checkpoint. Right now, we're just going to go ahead and ask Sophie to kind of go through the checkpoint and have Mr. Sportel just kind of scan.
All right, everybody. So in addition to being able to look at your badge on your iPad, we can also scan them with iPads and other devices. And so each student will be issued a badge. If you can show us, there we go. And it will have a QR code and your name on it. You can also slide in your GV badge on there. And then if you don't have your iPad with your badge showing, we're going to be able to scan this QR code and it will tell us where you are. All right, so I'm going to scan it right there. All right, and you can see that she's come up with her green badge on her iPad. I don't know if you can see that.
All right.
Okay, and then the other step we'll have to do is check the temperature. And we have to get that kind of close. There we go. And she's all set. She's only 300 degrees, so we're in good shape.
Perfect. So then once you go there, then we're going to head over to the washing station. We'll have a few washing stations throughout. And so we're going to have Mr. Sportel kind of just go over the hand washing station quickly. But let's see if we can get this going, Mr. Sportel.
Let's all wash our hands and keep it nice and clean. I always thought of myself as a GCB, a very clean boy. But that afternoon, coming home from school, I guess things were different.
And he'll dry off.
I'm playing in the playground.
And we'll have the next student come
My
through.
hands are all dirty, dirty. My mama says, wash your hands. But I'm not feeling like I want to. Turn on the faucet and use the warm water. Then I get my hands all soapy. And now they're good, and now they're nice, now they're clean. Everybody wash your hands. Nice and clean.
All right, well, let's give it up for our demonstrators there. That went smoothly. And so then we'll continue along. Now, mind you, my reception is rather spotty, but our team will keep us going here. We're gonna head over towards the library, and we'll talk a little bit to Miss Hatcher Day because she's got a few things to share. Now, directional. We will have directional arrows that will guide you all, letting you know in which direction to walk in order to help us maintain social distance, but also making sure that we don't bump into each other if we're all heading in one direction. So, heading into the library right now, and this is our library. Here we have Ms. McConnell getting ready. You are live, Ms. McConnell. Perfect. And we also have Miss Hatcher Day. She's our librarian here, and she's also a panelist. And go ahead and share a few words about the library.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I have information for you about the library and about our Pledge for Red competition that's going on between our school and La Colina and Santa Barbara Junior High. So let's start with that. We have information on your NEO class pages of how you can take the Pledge for Red. What that means is you are pledging as an individual to take every safety precaution so that our COVID rates in our county can go down and we can be in the red tier. So here, Mr. Ortega is showing us a showcase of students who have already pledged. These are students from across the district. And once you pledge, you will be entered in a raffle. And the grand prize in the raffle is a Sonos speaker. Whichever school gets the most pledges, all of those students get double the raffle entries. So if GV has the most pledges, all of our GV students get 2 entries in the raffle for the Sonos speaker. So you definitely want to pledge for safety and for Sonos. And you can find the link. It's a link to a Google form to pledge in your NEO class page. Okay, it's in the news. There's a little explanation, and then you can take the pledge. So I encourage you to do that. And I also want to let you know that the library will continue to be open for students to access their books. Even if you are in the C cohort, you are still welcome to come to our back door where we've been giving out supplies and materials for the whole year. You'll still be able to do that. And we'll have a little browsing area, weather permitting. Right now it just started to rain. With some books in front of the library for you to be able to look through as well. So if we are back in person, definitely stop by the library. I'm very excited to see you all, and I hope to see you on the list of pledges for the Pledge for Red. Thanks, everybody.
Wait, Miss Hatcher Day, one quick question. If you don't send a photo, are you still in raffle?
Yes, you are. You do not have to send a photo, but you can still be in the raffle.
Thank you, Ms. Hatcher Day. And right now, I was going to walk over to Ms. Ross, but we have rain, and the rain that we have right now is not your normal type of rain. It's the type of rain that just gets everywhere. And so we do have our awnings. We do plan on opening big rooms on rainy days. And for the most part, we are just fortunate that we have such a large amount of real estate where you all can be on sunny days. On rainy days, we are also fortunate that we have the awnings throughout the school and also classrooms and also activity rooms and cafeteria to make sure we're practicing the social distancing while at the same time keeping you all safe. Now, Ms. Ross, are you there? Just want to double check with Ms. Ross if she's ready. And if she's not, then I will go ahead and.
I am. Thank you. I didn't know if you were going to come with this rain that just started. It just started pouring.
It started pouring. So no, I'm going to save my computer from the rain and just let you take it away.
Then I will leave my mask off. And hi, everybody. I'm so excited. All of your teachers are getting excited looking at who's going to be in which group and how we're going to see you all in person and where we're going to put you in our classes and who's going to be grouped together. And it's very exciting. It's like a whole new beginning. And we hope that it happens on Thursday. And we know that if it doesn't for some reason, then it will hopefully happen very, very soon. And we're just so excited to have you all back and, have you help us learn how to navigate all of this new hybrid stuff. We all have great, exciting ideas, and we're looking forward to implementing them with you all in the room. And we're also really excited to see how Group C can be working at home, but still totally connected and, coming into our classes at least 20 minutes per period, and then also maybe some extra time for you guys if we can manage it, and clubs and other ways to keep you all connected. So just excited about the next phase and hope you are too. And we're all practicing very, very good safety measures, and we're going to keep that all going when you guys come back.
Thank you, Ms. Ross.
Thanks.
We'll be heading up to Mr. Rocha's room shortly, so we'll be hearing from him in a little bit. I do want to emphasize what I'm sharing with you right now, just the importance of downloading this app, the Safe to Speak app, because it will allow for this flow and transition when we have you all come in for the first time. Once you go to your class, the seventh graders, they're going to be able to come in, especially those who are in group A and B, to pick up their lanyards. And we hope to distribute some of those lanyards when they're here. And then our eighth graders, we will be getting some lanyards to you. So Sophie, if you could just show that lanyard again. Okay, it'll be linked up with a little color code letting you know what group you're in. And that's going to be fun. Ms. Cabrera, since you're here, I'm gonna have you just take the floor a little bit and just talk a little bit about counseling department.
All righty. Hello, everybody. I'm actually going to turn it. This is like a perfect spot right here. We're right in front of our counseling board. Our board is, so you guys are eighth graders, so you should be somewhat familiar. For some of our newer students who are new eighth graders. And Mrs. Ricardo, come on over. So we are your school counselors. Everyone is assigned a school counselor. Hopefully we're somewhat familiar. We've been in your classrooms already a number of times. And I think we just want to reiterate what everyone is saying is that we are practicing safety measures, social distancing, and you'll be able to see and speak with your counselor by appointment. And don't forget, you can access us through email, Neo, our virtual website. So we're available to support you in this transition. So we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Ms. Cabrera. So I'm wearing a jacket. It's cold outside. And we have a fan on. And we have the doors open and windows. And so really important that you layer up when you come to school physically, because it's easier to take layers off like a jacket than to come in a t-shirt and then be cold on rainy days or chilly days. So Really important that you layer up so that way it's comfortable. So right now, we're going to just head out. And so here's something to think about when you're heading out of your class. You turn right. So wherever you're at, you turn right, and that will guide you into the one way. Now, one other thing right now is that it's raining. So I'm gonna have Mr. Sportel here open this door. Might get rain on, that's okay. And then I'm gonna turn right. So here I am turning right. The umbrella is mainly for the team. Looks like my internet connection is unstable. I apologize. And right now we're just going with the flow of traffic. So what is it that we see on the floor? We see lots of blue arrows. If I stay here, there's a lot that's happening here. There's blue arrows and there's also red dots. So what do kids like to do? They sometimes like to congregate around here. Sometimes they like to sit down. In the old days, they would huddle up. In this new time, we just have red dots everywhere. And so we're just going to give you the guide of find a dot. We're going to have red dots, but we're also in the field, we're going to have white chalk, white dots. And so you'll all be able to kind of identify how far away you should be staying from each other. Now, here's a little icon. We measured our anchor, and our anchor is 6 feet 7 inches. And so our saying here is to stay anchors away, 6 feet away. So you'll be seeing and we'll be using that term just to make sure your anchor's away. We tested it out yesterday with our cohort, had them stand 6 feet apart, and anchors away. So 6 feet away. So right now, I'm walking with the directional arrows letting me know in which direction to go. Here we have Mr. Moore, Mr. McCullough. I just passed through Mr. Trail's class. Teach away in the Learning Center. Mind you, we still have our little entourage here, all of us maintaining distance as much as we can. So on rainy days, I'll probably have you go through here, but normally you would keep going down that way, following the arrows. Now we're heading up to Mr. Rocha's classroom. Ms. Chu, I feel like we need to get some four-wheel drives on this desk.
Yes, I think you're right. We didn't plan for going up steps.
Yep. So here we go. Going up. There we go. So as you can see, we've got arrows. If you're coming out of the classroom, you always go right. Here we have Miss Gutton. How you doing, Miss Gutton?
Oh, how are you?
So very important, layer up, because Miss Gutton, do your windows, are they open?
They're open. Layers.
Thank you, Ms. Gutton. All right, now we're heading up to Mr. Rocha. So Mr. Rocha, are you there? Perfect. So Mr. Rocha, I'm gonna have you take it away real quick. I'm gonna skip some slides, everyone, and just go to the one for Mr. Rocha. Go ahead, Mr. Rocha.
All right. Hey, people. Good to see you all. Super excited to finally get to see some people on campus. Miss you guys. And if you don't know me, I'm Mr. Rocha. I teach social studies and AVID, but I'm also a tech person on campus. So if you ever have any tech questions or trouble with technology during the day, you could stop by my room 405 and ask me for any help. I just wanted to remind us all that even though we will be on campus a couple of days a week, depending on your group, that you definitely want to still be bringing your iPad to school fully charged, or as charged as possible, because a lot of our work will still be being shared via Neo. So you'll still be using your apps in Drive, like Google Docs, Google Slides. You'll definitely be using Neo in your classrooms. The good news is when you're in class, you won't be using Zoom. So that won't drain the battery as much, because I know that does drain our batteries when you're Zooming and using your camera. But you still will need your iPad throughout the day. Okay, so it's really important to make sure you're responsible for charging your iPad before you go to bed at night, letting it charge overnight, so it's as fully charged as possible when you come in each day. All right, like I said, super excited to see everybody. Definitely bring your jackets, like Mr. Ortega was saying, because it is getting a little chilly in our rooms that now that we have everything opened up. So you want to make sure you're staying comfortable as well. All right, can't wait to see everybody Thursday, hopefully.
Thank you, Mr. Rocha. See, Mr. Rocha is right here.
Hey.
Double camera. So if you're coming out of Mr. Rocha's class, you're essentially going to turn right. And then you're going to head to your next class. I'm going to go back a little bit. Here I am. Famous saying, you're on mute. But anyway, now I'm going to have Ms. Chu talk a little bit about transportation. Here's the key. Transportation is going to be a go as soon as we hit the red tier. So we are expecting transportation to be ready to go on Thursday and Friday. Ms. Chu, can you talk a little bit about those links, where they are, and also where to click on so they kind of see all the maps?
Yes, so you guys, the MTD buses. Oh, hi, hello, everybody. By the way, I've been trying to frantically answer everyone's questions. So thank you for all your wonderful questions. In terms of busing, MTD is going to have the same 4 bus routes that they have had in the past. So if you rode the MTD buses before, those same routes will be happening. You can go onto the MTD website and look at their links to the routes, but you need to make sure that you keep clicking. Like you can click on where it says GV, click on the actual first route that they list there, so you see all of them. But it is the same 4 bus routes that we have had before. I can actually tell you which ones. So if you rode the 2610, the 2620, the 2630, or the 2650 from before, those are the same buses. They will also be happening again at the end of the school day. Okay, so the only bus that we won't have is the one that we used to have after 7th period. We do not have the bus happening after 7th period, which next quarter is not going to be an issue because nobody will have 7th period next quarter. All right, I think that's it for busing right now.
Thank you, Ms. Chu. So heading into our next slide, just as a reminder, we will have mask guidelines. You have to wear your mask. We do have guidelines for hand washing or hand sanitizing. And so it's going to be really key to make sure that you're doing one or the other every single day and before you're heading into your classes. We also have guidelines for transitions. This is all stuff we're going to be going over with your classes on the first day when you return on Thursday and Friday. And then we'll also be sharing this with you via our website and also out through Neo. This is really important. If there's ever a day that there are symptoms here at school, know that we will have the capability of talking with your families, but also the possibility and also being able to administer tests here at school. And so this will allow a family to take the student who might have symptoms, and then by the end of that day, know whether they are exhibiting symptoms of COVID positive testing or negative testing. And so just things to keep in mind. The safety, we are a closed campus for students and guests. And so only students that are enrolled here at school, the ones that are able to attend, families can visit, but they have to visit by appointment only. Physical distance at all times. We will have lanyards. As Sophie has showed you already, she got her lanyard. Teachers will also have lanyards. And you will have an opportunity to put your ID. If you lost your ID or can't find your ID, we can provide another one for you. And on the back will be your QR code. We do plan on administering those when you get back on the first day. The COVID compact is just an agreement. It's an agreement of wearing masks, that you'll agree to wear masks, knowing that those are requirements, washing your hands, using hand sanitizer, and practicing social distancing. And so that's going to be the key. Moving along, now here are the various different waiting areas. And so I'll have Mrs. Portel right now speak a little bit about the waiting areas, but also factoring in, look at how much green is in our quad right now. I mean, that's just phenomenal. All right, Mrs. Portel, take it away.
Hello again. All right, so what you see before you is a map of how we're going to arrive on campus. Now, the good news is, and what I'm very excited about, is that students can arrive to campus in the ways that they've always arrived on campus. So whatever you were planning, whatever mode of transportation and whatever way you had planned on coming into school, you will be able to come in that same way. You'll see that we have students that will be arriving via bus and pedestrians that come in from the direction of Carlos Street. You have students that will be dropped off in vehicles and pedestrians that come from the direction of Fairview. And you'll also have students there on bicycles in the orange. And of course, we do have students that get dropped off on that gate by Cathedral Oaks. So we'll have checkpoints for all of those typical ways that we enter class, or I'm sorry, enter the campus. And as you come in and get screened, there will be a little bit of time that some students will have to wait. Those who got there earliest may have to wait for a little while. And we're going to be asking students to wait and socialize with their friends in those waiting areas that correspond to the places that they entered campus. And we'll be having supervision just like normal out there. You'll see me and Mr. Ortega and Mrs. Chu. We'll see us all out there. And we'll have you go through your screening point and then wait in that area. We'll give you a little warning bell. And I think Mr. Ortega may have mentioned that we have a new bell system here, and we'll be able to direct you to head off to class. One of the things that you'll note on our directional walkways is that some of them, the ones that run north and south, will adapt to the time of day. So given the time of day, if it's before school, you'll be able to walk straight back up to your class. At the end of the day, when school's out, you'll be walking back. And you'll see that this happens also for the lunch times.
Perfect. Thank you, Mrs. Portel. So again, use the quad. There are days that you're going to be in the quad, and there are days that you're going to be out in the field. It really depends on the day you're coming in. So on Mondays and Tuesdays, those of you that are here, we're gonna, 8th grade will be in, just read it here. Students will spend the lunch period in grade level groups alternating between lunch area A and B as follows. On Monday and Tuesday, 8th grade A and 7th grade B, lunch area A and lunch area B. So this is obviously the quad lunch area. You have it all. And out there will be the field. You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, if you're in 7th grade, Monday and Tuesday, you'll have the quad will be yours. If you come on a Thursday or Friday for 7th grade, then you'll be in the field. 8th graders will have the quad on Thursday, Friday. 7th graders will have the quad on Monday, Tuesday. And so when you take part in lunch, what we're going to be able to do is socialize with your friends and reconnect with all your friends in your grade level. There'll be specific restrooms available for you that correspond to your lunch area, and your lunch will be served in those areas. So if you can see right behind me, these are the windows to our cafeteria. And right over here behind me, you'll see these double doors that Mr. Ortega is standing in front of. Right, and so our lunch service will be right here behind me in front of these windows. And it'll be a grab and go lunch, so you'll be able to come up free of charge and grab your lunch items. And then if you are, I'm just gonna walk backwards here, if you're in the group that's in the field in the black top, your lunch will be served by our cafeteria windows. So we'll have two windows open right here behind me, I think you can see. Yep, and you can see the lunch counter and the two windows that will be open. And then your area on those days will be right here behind me, this blacktop area and benches, as well as the entire field. So you'll get a little bit of a variety on your, if you come to school in cohort A on Monday, you'll be in one area, and then on Thursday, you'll be in the other, and vice versa. If you come on a B, you'll be in one area on Tuesday and another on Friday.
Awesome.
Wait, I have one quick thing for Dean Sportel. There's quite a few questions related to the Safe to Speak. Can you just let people know if you're going to send out more information? They're having some challenges signing up for that.
Got it. So we're gonna send out more information on that then. And we'll take some questions as soon as we're getting back into the library. We'll go ahead and take some questions. Another thing that we want you all to know is that we still have our distance learning website available. And so we will be updating documents on that website where it's a school resource, distance learning, aprendizaje en español. Make sure you go there. We're going to be uploading our new schedules on there and keeping that updated. Here's a slide that I shared with our teachers, with parents. Hi, Miss Rachel. How's your day? We're back. Here's the biggest thing, right? We are in a world right now that we're learning as we're going along. And so the work we do is challenging work. The work we're all doing is challenging thinking. And so it does require a lot of imagination. It does require us to think of new ways of working together. But ultimately, what we've been wrapping our heads in is how to inspire all of you and find purpose in all the learning that is happening in distance learning, but also that's going to happen physically here at GV. And so do keep those things in mind. We are future ready. We like thinking about that concept because we don't know what the future holds, but what we know is that we're prepared for it in order to make our learning the best learning that we can possibly do in the fourth quarter that we have left. And so with that, many of you put a lot of questions in that Ms. Chu and our team has been answering in the background. Whichever questions we did not get to, we will make sure that we go through those and create a Q&A for you or reference it for you. Ms. Chu, are there any pressing questions that we should have?
Well, I know one of the pressing questions was in relation to figuring out how to do Safe to Speak. So I think we'll definitely do follow up on that.
Yes.
Some people have been asking about minimum day. So there is no minimum day this week, even though it's the end of the quarter.
Correct.
There's some questions around, let me go back. Lots of really, really good questions about, some people asked about maps. If they don't have their agenda,
Yes.
I will look at a map.
We can provide copies of maps for you all, especially for all our 7th graders that are coming in for orientation. We'll be providing them with a copy of a map. And for all of our students, we'll go ahead and make copies so that way they're easily available for you. I think we'll also push out a PDF one. So if you want to annotate it on your iPad, you can.
And then there's some good questions about, I just had one leave my mind. Some questions about access to the library as
Yeah.
to when's a good time students will be able to access the library?
Absolutely. Miss Hatcherday will be creating a system for accessing the library, and she'll be visiting classrooms, especially when teachers are able to reserve the library for a particular learning experience. She'll definitely be reaching out to them, but she'll also be providing guidance on how students can visit the library, because we don't plan on keeping students out of the library, but we do want to make sure that we're practicing the social distancing, that we're following CDC guidelines, and making sure that those safety measures are in place. And so that's the short answer that I have for you. In terms of what that will look like logistically, making appointments, getting yourself in, Ms. Hatcherday and Mr. Ryan Rajuko are currently creating that process to streamline it for everybody.
What about reviewing times, Mr. Ortega? Some people are wondering what time they should try to arrive, having enough time to check in, that type of thing.
Yeah, you want to arrive right at 8 o'clock. What you don't want to do is arrive here at 7:30 when we don't have the staffing to take you in and check you in. And so it's really important that you focus on arriving at 8 o'clock. If you arrive around 7:55, that's fine. At 7:50, we have staff setting up. And so we just need that time to make sure we have the tables out, the thermometers out, and a booklet with QR codes in case you happen to forget how to check in. And so 8 o'clock would be a good start time for you all to begin arriving. We're not too concerned about everybody arriving at the same time because we have various different checkpoints that people will be arriving to. Ms. Gonzalez, is your hand up?
Let's see.
Probably not. All right. Any other pressing questions?
I think, most of them we've been able to answer. There are some questions about seeing what group they're in. So we've been answering that about Aries, seeing that information in Aries. And if anybody has trouble finding what group they're in, you can ask your teachers, you can call the school. There's lots of ways we can get that information to you.
I also want to end by letting everybody know that we have enough PPE equipment for every single student. And so we have masks for you all. We have the cloth ones like the one I'm wearing, but we also have disposable ones if you happen to forget one on a certain day. We also have face shields if you choose to have one or want to wear some throughout the day. So believe it or not, we have enough face shields for every single student as well. And so all of it is just requires for you to just say, I'd like one. We will offer them. And you could simply say, yes, I want one, or no, I don't want one. And so do keep that in mind. There's some questions about band members. Ms. Devin Nelson will be pushing that information because we've been working with her in terms of how that will operate when you do come in person. And then there's a question about if there will be another survey. To my knowledge, we don't have another survey coming up, but if you do change your mind throughout the year, contact our counseling department and we will be able to help you. And so we can't guarantee proper placement if you want to come back to in person, but if you want to switch from in person to hybrid, there are ways to make that change quickly. Let's see. All the buses are arriving and leaving at the same time. Yes.
Roughly, yes.
So they'll be making their rounds in the morning and we'll be pushing that information out as well. And I think the other ones we can go ahead and take a look and answer your way. So with that, I want to thank you all for being part of our live webinar, live and direct. Thanks for allowing us to be goofy. Thanks for allowing us to be kids. Part of why I enjoy this job is because it allows me to kind of just revisit our youth and connect with our kids who are currently getting ready for high school. And so looking forward to seeing you all and looking forward to interacting with you all via distance learning if you're remaining in distance learning. So on that, thank you and have a good day.